wish it would fade out because that way I could just say I got it right instead of either the music stops or I cut off the last few seconds of the music. Anyway, I'm Dave Glovin, and there's my name. And Philip Marshall is with us this morning. It is Red Friday morning. So first off, we do our usual salute to the men and women of the United States military, all the branches, even the Coast Guard. So, I mean, we do them all because we are proud of the job that they all do. The men and women of ICE, the men and women of the National Guard, the men and women of state and local law enforcement, and even first responders, because you do something that is very important. So you're on the list too. We generally wear a red shirt, although I forget sometimes, but I always have something red or with red in it on my desk, or my tablets are in red cases. So, but after that, we go right to what we need to tell you. And there's a lot of stuff that Philip and I have to tell you this morning. And on that note, I'm going to welcome you to Red Friday. I need caffeine because my day started with I put my head down as soon as my alarm went off and fell asleep. And then I got a phone call and I lost track of time. So I apologize to all of that. What do you have, Philip?
Well,
are you there? What?
I've fallen into my Florida habits now. I put on sweatpants to go out and do the chickens and the ducks this morning instead of a pair of shorts and flip-floppy things. I don't really live.
Oh, I lost Philip. I hope Philip will come back. We're having trouble. We use Restream, and we don't usually have these problems. But for some reason today, people are bouncing in and out all morning. There we go.
And I'm in, yeah.
So
anyways, we learned a new trick about chickens. So if you got chickens, I want you all to know this.
Okay.
Capsaicin in hot peppers does not affect them as far as like it does for us with heating up our mouth and our taste buds and that. But it has an antioxidant and extra vitamins and I believe it was magnesium. And it's cheap. So we did a bunch of stuff around here, and last year we did hundreds and hundreds of hot peppers to make ourselves some hot pepper powder. So today I added about 1.5 pounds of hot pepper flakes and seeds to my chicken feed. And it's supposed to make the eggs shell stronger and make the chickens happier and keep them from having any kind of bird flu type things. So that was my farm lesson.
Okay. There we are. We finally did show up. I didn't see it there. We are live on my profile, David Glovin, on Facebook, and we are live on the Boogie with the Bull YouTube channel. If you like the broadcast, please share the broadcast. If you don't like the broadcast, please don't share the broadcast, but tell us why you didn't like it at the end. Anyway, the weather yesterday was very nice.
I could do this weather. It's fine with me.
Oh yeah, we turned. We used the heat the last few nights, and during the day if we needed it. But yesterday was nice. We were even outside, and it was nice while we were out. But as I said in the green room, everyone who is entitled to a SNAP check right now, and I use entitled loosely, but everyone who is entitled to one hopefully got theirs or is going to get theirs in time for Thanksgiving. And what else? Trump Care will replace the Affordable Care Act, and instead of subsidizing insurance companies that are worth billions of dollars, whoops, we lost Philip again. Wait and see if he comes back. It's for some strange reason, our internet appears to be very rocky. Last, okay.
I guess I'm gonna have
I didn't kick you off, and I just happened to look up and saw that you were gone. It's some days we have problems with Restream to everybody else, and everybody else to Restream. So I apologize if that happened. But
on that SNAP thing, I think that it appears from what I read, the federal government's got their end straightened out. So now the states that actually paid partial,
okay,
those are the states that will be bit because they had to change their system in order to take state funds and put them into that program. Now they have to change back to full federal funds, and they're going to have to either deduct the partial.
We lost Philip again. Deduct. He said deduct, and we lost him again. There he's back. I apologize for what is happening this morning.
Don't worry about it. I know the two buttons to click now.
Okay.
And anyway, if the state didn't pay the partial, they will either have to adjust to withhold the partial they paid, or someone will get full stamps, which means they got like 1.5 this month, and next month they will get 0.5. So if you're on a state that gave you a partial, you probably need to check up and make sure how that's going to work for you, so that you don't find yourself with half your food stamps next month. Because I don't know how they would give us $12.50, but
I personally feel the states should handle it, but I understand that not every state can afford to handle it. Thus, the federal government steps in and helps the rest, or helps with the rest. Only because I'm at a point where I think less the federal government does for us and more we do for ourselves through our states and our counties and our cities is going to be better. And I think President Trump is going to, I don't want to call it a bad feeling, but I have a feeling that he is leading us that way, that we're going to become a tariff-based society. And that can be good, I guess. And I don't know if it can be bad. Can it be bad?
You had a library system in this country that exists because of industrial benefactors. We didn't have a federal government paying for that at back then when that started. I personally believe that most care thing, just in my heart, because I'm believing our Judeo-Christian values, is that should be handled locally. And I like the idea of it being handled by Christian organizations because they're close to the ground, and they can react to what needs to be done for individual families and people at a moment's time. The federal government just said it when he said 9 words that are most frightening. Hi, I'm from the federal government. I'm here to help. The federal government doesn't do a lot of help. They create a lot of bureaucracy.
I think the problem is that different people within the federal government have brought people that don't deserve SNAP, or they're not entitled to SNAP. They're not entitled to other things that you hear about. And then you hear Governor Newsom in California is in trouble or being investigated for being involved in something that was set to register illegal aliens, the legal immigrants, to vote. And You know, I want time for Snap to continue paying who they should pay, but at the same time weed out all the ones that they shouldn't pay. And I don't know if we just stop paying them or if we weed them off of it. I don't really know what to do. I spend a lot of time feeling the humanitarian reasons to continue something, but at the same time, the Republican view, which is no, if you don't deserve it, you don't get it. If it crosses my desk and your name is on it, you won't get it if you're not entitled to it.
Certain things like food stamps and certain health things, there comes a point when a family doesn't qualify and actually get put into a worse position when they get taken off of some of the aid. There maybe, in my opinion, there needs to be a finishing gray area where you finish somebody off. All right, you're no longer qualified. You got a job. You're getting there. Now we're going to hold you for a certain period of time as long as you do certain things. You're working, so now you've got a. I want you to show me you opened up a bank account and a checking account, so that you got a place to put some money. Just show me you do that. I want a progression in your life. I want to help you progress because that's what these entitlements are supposed to be. You're going to get an automobile. Well, I'm not going to penalize you for the value of the automobile. I want to give you a reward and tell you that because you got an automobile and you can now drive back and forth to work and you can stretch out a little further where you get a job, maybe get a better paying job. I want to add 6 months to your benefits. Okay, you're gonna lose your Medicaid, but your insurance from work isn't going to kick in for 3 months. So what I want to do is I want to cover you for those 3 months, and I want to add 3 months of extra aid so that you have prescription stuff. And because you got this job, this is your that to me would be beneficial in those. That's not a waste of money. When you give a major corporation big tax breaks for putting up their business in your county, your state, your city, why aren't you giving these kind of breaks to the people that need this to jump?
Well, I guess that's what Trump wants to do with Trump Care, which will hopefully replace Obamacare. That instead of subsidizing the big corporations that sell billions of dollars worth of insurance every year, they will now, quote unquote, redirect that subsidy money to the people buying the policies, the people who are on the policies. And, I still haven't really heard enough about it to know when it's going to kick in. I guess it still has to be voted to be approved. And, that whole thing is a mess because if you listen to President Trump a lot, he says, now that we're reopened again, we have a Republican majority of the House, the Senate. I'm here in the White House. The Democrats aren't going to like what we're going to do. And what we're going to do is make America great.
I think one of the problems that he faces and a lot of the lawmakers faces, in order to change.
We lost Philip again. I mean, get into position because he'll come back. Let me do this. You're just jumping like a bullfrog this morning.
I'm telling you, in order to make this change, they have got to do away with Obamacare first. Nothing else can take its place until. So there's a point in time, even if it's a matter of a vote, and we both know because we watch this stuff, there are no quick votes in the House or the Senate. There are no quick. A vote can take an entire day to go through a vote. It's going to take an hour and a half anyways while people walk around and shake hands and gab on the floor. So you can watch them on C-SPAN. That's what they want you to do, is see them like they're busy. So there's going to be a point where we're going to say, no, this is over. It's done. At that point, somebody's going to fundraise from the Democratic Party and say, you don't have any insurance at all anymore. The Republicans just killed all insurance. That'll be the headline. And it will be true for, 3 to 5 minutes?
Yeah, 3 to 5 minutes until Trump care kicks in, and you have
Yeah.
insurance. You have insurance again. Uh, you know, I don't. I don't like the position that we are in as Republicans a lot. In hearing from people, well, he shouldn't pay for the big beautiful presidential ballroom at the White House because that $300 million could do a lot of good for a lot of different people, or he just ripped a big hole in the White House. And then I say, well, did you go back and read the last 150 years and see all of the presidents, both Republican and Democrat, that ripped a big hole in the same place at the White House and did things they wanted to have done, and they paid for those things to be done? You just hate that Donald Trump, because you hate Donald Trump, is doing the same thing.
And one gathering will benefit more people in that one moment than what Richard Nixon's single bowling alley. How many people played basketball with Obama? How many people played on that basketball court? And taxpayers paid for it. Well, nobody's paying for this. If someone wants to
Right.
I invite them to help build me a new chicken coop. Maybe give me a walkway that's heated for the winter, huh?
Right. It's been a project that sat on the table for 150 years as presidents tried to figure out a way to fund it. And if Hillary Clinton was the president right now and she asked Donald Trump, if he was not in politics yet, to be a part of it, nobody would complain. I mean, some people might complain because it's Donald Trump and they just don't want him involved in it. But realistically, if Hillary Clinton did the same thing and the Clinton Foundation paid for it, no one would say a word.
Exactly.
So, I don't like that syndrome. Yeah. That's the part of it that I don't like. People say that, well, you like Trump and he's a terrible person. Well, who do you like? And they tell me who they like. And I say, they're a terrible person. Biden was a terrible person. Obama was a terrible person. But I don't want to go back and deal with terribles and terribles. Really, what I want to say to people is this is a situation between the president, the people that he has to deal with or not deal with, and the White House. That's it. I mean, realistically, I figure I don't have a right to be angry or not angry, only because he's a world-class real estate developer, which means he knows what he's doing. He's not going to return it to the same condition the East Wing was in when it's done. He's going to do something on a grand scale, and he's giving it to the next president. And we don't know what the next president will be. We hope, well, we lost Philip again. Let's see if we get him back. Oh, we did get him back, so hold on.
Got the button down. I know what they...
Once you get the button down, don't touch it. I have to do that a lot on my end. Once I get it to do what I want it to do, leave it alone and let it do it.
Good Lord, my daughter calls me Mr. Clicky. She said, don't touch anything on your computer. Yep. Because you will mess it up. Yep.
Once I make the studio, the laptop has a mic, the laptop has a camera, I leave it alone. That's just me. I just leave it alone.
We talked. I'm getting used to having a laptop. I'm getting so used to this and liking this thing so much. I don't know why I didn't do this.
Well,
besides,
the thing I like about it is that if I need the space on the desk for something, I just moved the laptop. Yep. Talking about moving things, and Philip got moved again. So he is back, but we'll get this right. Anyway, maybe my I'd almost say, well, maybe the laptop that I'm using needs more caffeine this morning, but caffeine and laptops are a dangerous combination. They
It's
usually
got to be
do
your
not
fault, though,
work.
because all the schnapps this morning have been on your side.
All the what?
All the snaps have been on your side this morning. You know,
Yeah,
you're the one that started out with the left foot out of the bed instead of the right foot out of the bed.
I don't know which foot went out of the bed. It must have been my left foot. No, it couldn't have been my left foot because it got back into bed and went to sleep just because it was so comfortable this morning. And I apologize for that, but we're here, we're having fun. We're on my profile on Facebook. We're on the Boogie with the Bull YouTube channel. And if you like what we're doing, come join us. And if you are watching anywhere and you feel the need to share it, please do. If you want to share it off of Facebook, go to the Boogie with the Bull YouTube channel so that my friends at Meta don't make any money off of it. My friends at Google make a ton of money off of it. But that's just the way I feel. But anyway,
I have another self-help tip for everybody.
Uh-oh.
If you're gonna do some construction around the house, now I don't know about other states, but let's talk about Florida, okay? I told you they're building a pool.
Oh God. He told us how he was going to pop out this morning, and by God, he did
it. I told you that I was going to put a front porch on the house for my daughter for a Christmas present.
Yes.
And I'm building a fancy ramp and deck by this new trailer that I got. And
okay,
if you don't own a Lowe's card and you get a Lowe's corporate card because you're a business owner, your first purchase, you can get 20% off.
Ooh.
If you're up to the $3,000 or $4,000 range, what are you talking about? $500, $600, $700? Well, what does it cost to become LLC in Florida? At the most, if you're registered and all the certificates and everything, at the most, $160. So I'm about to spend about $3,500, $3,600 in lumber and brackets and all the nails and the screws and all of that. So because we have a small business that we just kind of run out of the house with the tractors and the bush hog and stuff, I realized this. A friend of mine told me about this. So I went, and it took me 5 minutes to Phil Marshall's Jobs is the name of what we do, but we do small jobs. And
as soon as that number what I do, but I do.
True. As soon as that number comes through, and I go and apply for materials, which I was going to buy anyways, I'll buy all of these materials, and I will get 20% off. Fit me by $400 or $500. That's a little tip for you. And at the end of the year, if you don't want to have a whole bunch of paperwork, you don't want to have a whole bunch of paperwork from the federal government in a year, just go and close your corporation off, shut it down. But you have to give back your corporate card to Lowe's.
My tip to everybody today is that I don't know if it's Megabucks or Powerball, but one of them is up to $526 million, and certainly not the biggest it has ever been. But my wife and I enjoyed talking about all the things we would do if we won the $526 million. And the first thing I said was probably give about half of it to the federal government. I don't know what you give to Florida, only because if you use your income to buy the ticket, you don't have income tax in Florida. So how can you get taxed for buying a ticket? I mean, I understand that the thing is rigged to be a fundraiser for them. But you tell me I won $530 million, then you take 200 and whatever it is, $1,000 million away from me, which is, I guess, okay, because
That's
in the
like they're
grand
going to take
scheme,
the $200 million and put it towards the ballroom.
yeah, but in the grand scheme of things, I couldn't spend $526 million anyway, unless there's a lot of money that we would give away, but that, we'd be like everybody else. We'd have houses all over the U.S., near family. We'd have, I don't know.
I have a plan for this.
Okay.
First, I thought about how do I avoid giving something to somebody who have to pay tax. A friend of mine who's an investment consultant said it's real simple. You go to Visa or you go to MasterCard. You open an account and you deposit X millions of dollars, and then you draw anonymous $25,000 Visa cards, and you give that $25,000 Visa card to people you think deserve to have a reward in life.
Well,
if you've met an honest person that you really admire, there's someone you shopped with, or a business owner, or you actually met a used car salesman that told you don't buy this car, and you'd like to reward that person. Just hand one of these Visa cards. Nobody has to know, but have to tell the government they got that money, and they got a prize.
We would give some of it closer to the $1 million side to our 3 sons and their wives and our grandchildren. And I don't care if everybody knows. I really don't. The only problem is that it becomes like the government. When you win, everybody shows up at your front door and thinks they need a piece of it.
Oh, what an opportunity to tell them why not.
Well, my dad and I joked around before he passed away about we'd open a foundation if either one of us won big, and the other one would manage it for the other one. And I don't know, 10 o'clock every day, the time lock on the lobby door would pop open, and you could come in and wait your turn and sit down with me. I'd be dressed like Brando as the Godfather, and you could tell me why you need your money. And the cool thing about that is sometimes the ridiculous and entertaining ones might actually be the ones that win.
That could have some pretty interesting little cotton in your cheeks. Welcome to my office.
It was very much fun being the executive vice president of my college's student government, and everybody having this reputation, or putting this reputation on me, that we just don't spend money if we don't have to. And the ladies that ran the daycare center that also taught, we lost Philip again, but the ladies who ran the daycare center sent an application in for, whoops, we lost him again. There we go. Oh, hold on. Okay, we got to do this. Now we got it. Okay, now it's working like glass. There. So the ladies that ran the daycare center sent in some paperwork asking for money. And then I guess the rumor got around that people didn't think that I would approve it because the exec VP sat on the finance committee or chaired the finance committee, and he and the treasurer would work together. And the treasurer was someone else they didn't think would approve the money. And we did a stupid thing. We invested a couple of $1,000 and made a gazillion dollars with our sister college doing concerts on the football field. And so we had a lot of money. And I would look at them and go, do you think I should approve it? Trying to get a gauge of what they would say back to me. And the ladies didn't say anything. Then they finally said, well, you guys should come and see what we do. And I think I was the only one that actually showed up when we were supposed to do it. And I swear to God, it was like teaching kindergarten for the time that I was there. And I always wanted to teach kindergarten because you get the ability to help mold a mind the right way. None of this, you need to become a girl and you're a boy. No, none of that. None of that. None of that. None of that. You're going to grow up and be a real good athlete. We lost Philip again. I'm going to shut my mouth because maybe we won't keep losing Philip if Philip is the one who's talking. So talk, Philip.
It seemed to stay on longer when I was a gap. The Powerball is the one that did 500. The Mega Millions did. That one's cruising up. That shocked me.
Okay.
It would just complete. I just don't know how. I don't have the lifestyle.
Did you freeze? Did you freeze? I think you froze, Philip. I think you froze. What I would definitely do is, if it's me on my end, I would go and buy a new laptop, I guess, even if we found this one in a box from my making a mistake one day and putting it in a box. But
my speaking didn't help that one any. If I put paintings on the wall, my taste probably runs more towards a watercolor Velvet Elvis than it does Picasso.
I would have no problem having all of these houses all over, but I think in each one would be like Elvis and saying, this area that I live in is off limits to everybody else, just me and whoever I bring in here.
You want your Dawn thing in your office and your fedora hat and a compound. You want to live in your own compound, yeah.
Within, I mean, we build or buy homes big enough that Donna could have her working space. I could have my working space. We could each have private space if we wanted. We'd have plenty of guest space and not have to worry about it. And I'm not going to run out and buy tons of cars because I can't drive them and I won't enjoy. I would enjoy riding in them, but not as much as if I was driving them. So that will keep me from buying them. But
and then there's a dream. I would want land. I would want land where I would be able to fish and hunt on my own land, and ignore the so-called rules and regulations of all the crazy green environmentalists. And not that I want to pollute the land. I just don't want them looking over my shoulder and telling me how big a fish I can take out of my own pond, or whether or not I can harvest a deer or an elk and put it on the smoker, But yeah, like I said, I don't know. I couldn't imagine. I couldn't imagine that I could spend, even if I had a couple of $1 million at my age in life. I'm 74. I don't know there's anything I would want or need. They would eat a couple of $1 million. I don't have a list anymore.
Yeah. I mean, I've got a laptop that works. I'm connected to live stream software that works. So what it's supposed to. I guess it's not today though. But I can't. There really wouldn't be much of much of a shakeup, although I guess we shook up. We lost Philip again. So let me see. Let me hit this one. You keep going. We're going to call this something wrong, but I don't know what it is.
I'm blinking on off. I thought I did while I was out for 30 seconds. I thought of something I would do that would be extreme. I'm only going to wear socks. I'm only going to wear socks one time. I'm going to buy enough socks that I can. When I'm done wearing that pair of socks, I'm just going to get rid of them. I love branded socks.
I like doing laundry, but only when doing laundry works. Right now, the previous tenant left their washer and dryer, and last night I think I figured out why. Because the dryer was, the washer was temperamental, and when it was done, it wouldn't shut off. I mean, it was done, and you knew it was done, and you could open the door and take stuff out, but it thought it was still in a cycle. And then finally, later in the day, instead of shutting off in the off position at 12 o'clock, it shuts off at whatever the 6 o'clock position is. It thinks it's been turned off. And the dryer, I don't mind, because all it did was it would run through its cycle and then think it needed to run through its cycle again. And whatever you set it for, that just meant you got warm clothes. And I love warm clothes. So, but
I like to hang clothes up outside, but I have to now I have to go to the front yard to do it, because you only hang stuff outside one time when you have goats.
Yeah.
And then where they can get to it.
And my dressing might change a little bit. I mean, I might go back to being a little bit more casual than grabbing whatever red shirt I had and whatever sweats I do have on. But and dress for this. I mean, I only have one suit. I kept one suit when we moved from Connecticut that I said, hopefully the next time I wear it, I won't be buried in it, because I worked really hard to afford that suit. So I don't want to be burnt up in that suit. But I don't know.
I have to proudly say that after all the years that I had things like that, I don't own a suit anymore. If you can't deal with me without a suit, I guess I can't deal with it. I don't go. I need one. I guess. Have to go to your wedding or your funeral or something, I would just go down to the rental place and rent one for the day.
My dad, when the cancer had metastasized, and I think he knew the only way out of it was passing on, that's when he started giving up. We lost Philip again. But he did the same thing and just started giving them away. And then, I looked at the closet of suits and I said to myself, I don't drive anymore, so I really don't need them. And half the time when I had customers in the car, I wasn't wearing a suit anyway, because the bigger customers who actually thought they were important or were actually important would often say to me, it doesn't really matter what you wear. If you want to wear a suit, wear a suit. But you want to wear a shirt and tie, wear a shirt and tie. You don't want to wear a shirt and tie, as long as you're appropriately dressed, we don't care. We just want to get to where we're going. So that's...
As long as you're clean.
Yeah, as long as you're clean and you're wearing something that looks professional.
What did you have for business?
Polo shirts. I was in the limousine business.
Ah.
And then I worked for a security company that a friend of mine owned so long that I thought I was actually one of the owners too. But I had a problem of quitting and coming back. And so he said to me, I will bring you back because I need you right now, but I'm not going to give you a uniform because I'm not spending the money to have a uniform made and tailored to fit you because you're a lieutenant and you need to look sharp when you're in a uniform. And I said, okay. So I wore my badge on my belt and places thought I was a police detective. And I said, okay. But finally, one day he came up to me and he said, go to the uniform shop, get the measurements, and they'll make a suit for you. And I said, okay. But I said, you're risking something. And he said, no, I'm not. He did, because I quit the day the suit was ready. But anyway, we lost Philip again. We should have a contest now. How many times? Whoops, wait a minute. There. We should have a. Are you there?
Oh,
there you are.
I popped in and I have enough money to go to Dunkin' Donuts and buy coffee.
In $2 bills, because that's what a very wealthy friend of mine does. He has in one pocket, he has it full of $2 bill, or had it at the time, it full of $2 bills because his cup of coffee and whatever else he bought was like $1.85. And it was less than $2, but with the change, it came up with the tip. It came up to $2, or he wanted to give $2. I don't remember which. So he always had a pocket full of $2 bills to pay for his coffee. And me, on the other hand, I look at my debit card, as long as there's money on it, I'm okay.
I wonder how
and
many.
What I've seen.
I wonder how many of this generation that works in those kind of places would know that a $2 bill was legal tender. Or if you handed them a $2 bill, they would think you would hand it.
I've seen it on Facebook before. I've seen it on Facebook in videos before where someone big, someone important, a big VIP was at Walmart and handed them a $2 bill. And it's like, no, this is not legit. And I go, well, I could go, lost Philip again. But that's part of the reason why we go to, there we go. That's part of the reason we go to the self-checkouts at Walmart and stores like that, because they can read a bill and know whether or not a bill is real or not, and you don't have to worry about it. Plus, every counterfeiter that I've ever heard of favors places like casinos, because you can put a fake $20 bill in there and break it up, or just play the $20 until they realize it's fake and you're already gone. But I don't know. I've never understood the point of doing that, because eventually you get caught, or you do something stupid and you get caught, But like I started to say, I look at my debit card, and if I got money, I know I can spend it. If I don't have money, I know I can't spend it. Or if I know I don't have money and I overdraft, it can be very expensive to be able to go do what you needed to do. And
banks make a significant amount of profit on.
Yeah. The thing that's caught my eye lately is, I guess there's a federal government program that ends today that banks pay off what you owe, credit card wise. If you have a credit card from a bank, they pay it off. I didn't look at it because I thought it was too good to be true. And I don't know really if I want.
Any of them said after me.
Yeah, no. If President Trump called me and said, "How much do you owe?" and I told him the total of what I owe, and said, that's the dividend check that I would like. No more, no less. Just enough to pay that off so that I can be sure I sleep at night, because sometimes I don't. But, the worst thing I ever heard was all of these companies that are willing to help you take care of that, but you have to owe more than 10,000, and I don't owe more than 10,000. So, it's like, should I go out and get 5 more credit cards and bounce on them, and then I owe 10,000? You'll take care of me, or why can't you just take care of me at what I owe? I did the dumb thing that everybody.
Nowadays, it's easy to go down that rabbit hole for money. When you look at things like what a pickup truck costs today, $75,000, $80,000. My God.
Yeah.
They could have bought houses with that kind of money back when they bought houses.
Yeah. My parents paid.
I mean, I remember buying a new car. I believe it was. I bought a '71 Fiat 850 Spider, little sports car, and for whopping like $1,800 for that thing.
Yeah.
Now there was nothing fishy about that car. That was like as entrance level as you could get in that company. I just wanted a little 2-seater convertible thing because I thought it was pretty cool going to school.
Yeah.
But you can't get into a new automobile, even these Hyundais and stuff like that. They advertise as a stupid deal for under $35,000, $40,000. Holy cow!
Yeah, but then you go like the rest of us, and you go to a used car lot and buy something, and by the time they put it all together, it's still like $17,000, $18,000. I mean, to get something that's comfortable to ride in and that isn't going to be a rat trap that's going to break down on you. Or just remind me if I ever move from the Northeast down to Florida again to make sure I undercoat the bottom of my car while it's in the Northeast, because we had a 2001 Toyota Avalon that my mother had given me when she stopped driving. And it was a great car. Had everything except the sunroof, because Mom didn't want a sunroof. She wanted everything else, but she didn't want a sunroof. And we brought it down here. We drove it for, I think, 2-3 years. And then one day, it wouldn't start. And we had it towed into a mechanic friend, and he said, "Let Philip jump and it will be fixed." No. Anyway, we'll wait for Philip to come back. There he is. We're welcome to Friday morning on Boogie with the Bull, and the person who guesses the most number of times Philip will boot off in the course of the program wins a prize. And I don't know what the prize will be, but I don't know. Anyway, what else, Philip? We're 49 minutes, 50 minutes into the program. What else?
Because I didn't, I haven't really looked at any news yet.
I am at the same.
Really last night and do anything. I'm interested to see where some of the foolish stuff is going to go.
Yep. I generally give myself
one
at
group
least
of files,
an hour.
but I don't even want to talk about those files because I couldn't care less about what they do with that.
My belief to them is very simple. If they were sitting on files that incriminated President Trump in any way, why would they have waited this long to present them? And when they presented them, they redacted names that everybody already knew about. So well, we lost Philip again. So add one to your list. And we'll wait and see. Well, there he is. He's back. But my point is, like I said, Philip, they didn't present anything new in their revelations. And to me, he's the president of the United States. He's a world-class real estate developer. Did he know Jeffrey Epstein? Yes. Is he guilty of what Democrats want you to believe he's guilty of? Evidently, no. They went to court on all these things that they threw at him, and he's won them all.
There's only one reason I can think of why the Democrats would have kept it and then let the Republicans have it, because now whenever it gets released, the Democrats will say, well, the Republicans had control. They inserted this information. And if a Republican's name comes up they want to hide, the Republicans will say, well, the Democrats were supposed to put that name in there when they had possession of it. They bounce this around enough to make it inconsequential. If you're a victim of that kind of a crime, it's not inconsequential. But they've made this a political toy. And
I think they're using it as a political toy. I mean, if there was substance and he was actually guilty of what they're alleging, I don't think even Republicans would want him to be their president.
No, because back when he started the first time, there was a whole lot of Republicans that didn't want him. It was
okay. Well, so many that they pulled the plug on Philip, and we had to wait for it. Oh, wait a minute. I'm going to do this. There we go. Anyway, as you can see, we have a whole lot of fun on Boogie Woodable broadcast. Sometimes they work, and sometimes there is a technical issue, and
as I was
anybody
saying,
is welcome.
With Donald Trump, it's always been the people, not the party. Until he revamped the party this time, it was never the Republican Party behind Donald Trump. It was Donald Trump actually using the Republican Party for a platform because he couldn't be a Democrat. He didn't want to do that. He already knew what they were.
Yeah.
So if there had been something there, they would have done something. Would have done something that. And now I think it's just become a distraction that they use. Either party uses when they want to distract the news cycle.
Speaking of that,
so I'm interested to see. I want to see some laws. See what are they going to do about air traffic controllers? Are they going to put those on a continuing, funded continuously, so that we don't have this problem? I mean, they took care of food stamps until the end of the fiscal year.
What we need to do is make sure there are enough of them that includes an extra enough of them, so that if some of them decide they want to go out, we still have an adequate supply of them. I like what I had read, but people started to tell me that I was wrong again, so I just let it go. But, I had read something that he wanted to give them a $10,000 bonus, the ones who have worked straight through. And then someone told me that wasn't what he wanted to do. He wanted to give them all a $10,000 bonus. And I'm going, but if they didn't work, they don't deserve 10
what I read was that those that had worked through, what I read was that those that had worked through and not used any of their sick days and stayed on the job was who he wanted to give a $10,000 bonus to.
Yeah. Okay, well, we lost Philip again. So he won't be giving me a $10,000 bonus for doing Boogie with the Bull because we don't get paid. Anyway.
Yeah, we've had problems with air traffic controllers since, 83? When Ronald Reagan fired them? I don't know if we've completely recovered from that whole thing.
I don't think we have. Only because I want to believe that planes have have progressed to where we need more people watching what's going on in the sky. So I don't think anybody wants to fire them.
If you can have a self-driving taxi drive through Miami or New York or Boston, I would think you can have a plane that can land itself.
Well,
At least
Uber,
the to get that
Uber,
plane to the airport without worrying about it bumping into somebody else. But then, yeah, you got little tiny planes, you got old planes, and there's an argument against that. But I
Uber,
just think technology should have been able to fill in some of those gaps.
Uber tested, I think, down in Dallas. I want to say in New York too, but I'm not sure it was actually in New York. A self-piloting, whatever you want to call it. And I don't know if they're still using it, but it looked pretty cool. If Elon Musk can provide you a self-driving Tesla as well as a self-driving bus, the plan for a plane must be in his head somewhere. But then again, it all becomes a question of safety. But
I don't know. Have you seen some of the people who have driver's licenses?
I've seen videos of people. I've seen videos of people who were pulled over driving trucks, and yeah, I saw videos of people that were pulled over for driving trucks that should not have been driving that truck. But
17,000 over that California gave. My goodness.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to me, what's happening in California is California's fault. And if you're not going to blame it on the governor, then who are you going to blame it on? And if you blame it on the governor, and it turns out that the investigation into whether or not he was involved in bringing illegals the right to vote, you would think that will bring him the decision by voters in all 49 other states to not make him president, minus, of course, the blue states. I mean, one day you see a blue map of the United States with very little red in it. One day you see a map of the United States with very little blue in it. And you still hear that Democrats are trying to scramble to put something together because Act Blue turned out to be the cloud of contempt that it really is.
I don't know. Democrats can't even get it together and have a leader for their party right now. There is nobody leading the charge for the Democrats.
I don't see anybody on. No.
Harris had a 60 in a YouGov poll. Harris was the number 6% of the Democrats thinking that she should be the leader of the party. 16% is a pretty low percentage point for a leader thing.
For me,
because the next list down was 14% for anybody but Harris. That was the question. So
she just missed. She just missed the mark. The way I see it, I thought the only reason she ran with him was to ride his coattails into the White House and then politely send him home and use the 25th Amendment and become the president, which would have, if you were a Harris supporter, given you enough opportunity to decide in 2028 whether or not you wanted that to continue. I don't think it would have continued. I personally don't think the Democrats are going to do that well in 2020, in the next year November election, the 2028 presidential election, the 2030 other midterm. I just don't see it because all of them said no. And it was enough to not pass things that needed to be passed. I mean, I understand that not everything is going to be that easy, but a bill that's supposed to be a clean bill with nothing attached to it to fund the government and reopen it all needs to be that. Then go do whatever you want to do. Then go into a conference room and explain why I should give you $1.5 trillion. I just don't see it. And
saying no to a budget bill, it's actually based on a budget that your own party put in place. That budget was put in place by the Democrats. They were in power when that was put there.
yeah,
Joe Biden was president.
and they all voted yes on it.
That was their budget, and they voted no.
Right. That's what I don't understand. I've listened to Mike Johnson say that, the speaker, say that more times than I can count. This is the same stuff you voted yes for. We gave you all of that. We just didn't give you $1.5 trillion. And I don't think if you're the majority, you'll give your, saying that. I don't think if they're the majority that they will give themselves $1.5 trillion. Where are they going to get it?
Listen, America is all done paying for PBS TV. We're all done paying for U.S. AIDS. That money's never coming back.
Right.
Americans see what we don't need Sesame Street in we're not going to fund insurance. Trump is president. He's never going to sign a bill that gives insurance money to illegal aliens. He's never. He would give up his gold bathroom before he would sign that bill.
Well, I just don't think. Well, I just don't think he's going to do it. He would do it, and if you're an illegal immigrant who's been here for 20 years, and you all of a sudden become a naturalized citizen, so that you can continue getting what you're not supposed to be getting. Nope, that's my fault. Okay, but I don't know. It's just a crazy. Well, we lost Philip again. I'm going to bring Philip back one more time so we can say goodbye. And I think we've lost it enough and it's a little over an hour. So tell the people what you want to tell them and how many times you think you might bounce off tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. if you want to try it.
I think by tomorrow morning we'll have it. It's got to be that whole energy thing that caused the aurora borealis to show.
It could be.
That's got to be what's doing this. That just popped in my mind. I'll say to everybody, I enjoyed you again today, and God bless America.
All right. Well, as I said, you're welcome to join us at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning for a selected Saturday Boogie with the Bull.
And a wonderful Red Friday.
All right, you too. Have a great day. Thank you. All right. I booted him off that time. That's my fault, but I did boot him off. We're going to enjoy having Philip Marshall with us. He's welcome anytime he wants to come in and join us and even take the lead. And I'll shut up because I still notice that, I'm still interrupting people and I should not be doing that. And you have to tell me that, no, that's not the way we do it. Because I always say everybody gets a turn, but I shouldn't just get the right to take my turn whenever I feel like it. So there's lots of things to discuss. There's time available to discuss them. We're on generally Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 8:30 a.m. Or if people really want us back at 10 o'clock in the morning, we'll return at 10 o'clock in the morning. It gives me a bunch of time to try to catch everything. There's so many different news sources to read from each day. There's AIs to talk to, even if you don't play AIs. I'm sorry, but there are AIs to talk to and run things by. And just know everything that we can and go over a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Before you know it, the hour's up and it's time to say goodbye. So on that note, it is Friday. So go out and make it a fabulous Friday. Go have a fabulous weekend. We will be here probably tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. So look for us in the news feed with the promotions telling you that we will be, and I'll promise I will be on time. I'm just not sure what happened this morning, but it happened. Sometimes you have one of those days you just want to stay in bed 5 extra minutes and it turns into an hour. And then, like I said, you get a phone call and you're on for a lot longer than you should have been. But anyway, if you have an idea for a Boogie with the Bow program, please let me know. Even if it's not 8:30 a.m. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, selected Saturdays at 10 a.m. or selected Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7 p.m., let me know. Like I said, if it's a time different than that, let me know, and we'll still do our best to work something out with you. And as I said, it does not have to always be political. It does have to be on Tuesdays and Thursdays each week. It's got to be a panel. Got to be more than one. I don't want to come on at 7 p.m. and just be myself. So if you have something to say, come on and be on with me. And if you don't, I probably won't be on at 7 p.m. unless I think I have something to say that you really need to hear. Because we are living in that age where we all know and we all agree that the illegal portion of SNAP needs to be removed. I have said, leave it as it is through Thanksgiving and Christmas, because it will probably take you until Christmas to remove all the illegals off of it. So that January 1st, 2026, we go back to taking care of America. And we go back to taking care of America because we're not doing that right now. What we are doing is we're taking care of America by making sure we pay for everybody else. And we're allowing everybody else to come here. And you can interpret that however you want. But the most funniest point is that we have now a Democrat socialist mayor of New York who wants to do all kinds of things, including raise your taxes on all kinds of things that your taxes should not go up on. And the governor of the great state of New York, who is also a Democrat, Kathy Hochul, has said, no, it's not going to happen. I'm not increasing people's taxes right now. So we'll see what happens in the Hochul Mamdani fights right now, and in the New York fights. Chuck Schumer, the man who brought you the Schumer shutdown of the federal government and the House and the Senate, is he done in the position of Senate Majority Leader? I personally think yes. Who would replace him? I'm going to go out on a lark and say it should be John Fetterman once he's out of the hospital. For those of you that didn't hear, Senator Fetterman, I guess, fell down while he was on a walk near his home in Pennsylvania and has ended up in the hospital being looked at and having his medications regulated. They found a ventricular fibrillation. And someone can explain to me what it is, but it sounds like a heart problem that needs to be checked on right now, or a breathing problem that needs to be checked on right now. So our thoughts and prayers go to Senator Fetterman, who I think could be the Senate minority leader. And you want a minority leader who's willing to work with the majority, and we can get to doing what we need to do and not argue about the filibuster. The filibuster should be gone. once and for all. Just Democrats, you can't have it now. Republicans, you can't have it if we take over. Meaning that. That's just start to simplify things to get things done. Okay? Enough over, if you can't get it done, you shouldn't be there. It's that simple. If you're like Ilhan Oman or Omar, I don't care. I don't care that she may have married her brother and she may have had several children with her brother. I don't care. I don't want to know. If that's what they want to do, they're consenting adults, they can go do that. But when you're here in the United States of America and you make statements that say, I'm only here so that I can send to Somalia all of what I can get from the United States, become the ambassador. Okay? Become the ambassador of Somalia, if that's what you want, and see what you can get out of the United Nations. But, this one for all for one crap is just crap as far as I'm concerned. Everybody can coexist and everybody can do what they need to do, and that's just the way it should be. Like I said before, break bread, sit down, agree on what you agree on, disagree on what you disagree on, and work on what you don't agree on first. What's going to happen in Ukraine, I can't tell you, because Zelensky thinks he's going to lose and Putin thinks he's going to win, and because he thinks he won, he gets to take all the resources out of Ukraine. Well, no, I disagree with that. If Zelensky needs help making sure that those parts are safe and they're available, hey, that's one thing. Maybe we can help them. But boots on the ground, I think we got to think about where we put boots on the ground. Or shooting something from the sky, we got to think about where we do that. There's a lot more to living a coexisting world than there is nuking everybody, because sooner or later you're going to get down to you're only going to be the last one. And I've said it before. I've had dreams of me and the Russian on the battlefield aiming guns at each other going, do you really want to kill me? And then hearing back, do you really want to kill me? No, I don't. War is kind of an outdated function that only serves the industrial defense complex who makes money because they sell war. Selling safety is different. Come up with this really cool weapon and make it for us. Great. But if you have to scale it down to sell it around the world, what's the point? Everybody had a set number of nuclear warheads so that they could defend themselves against everybody else. Now it's computers that can do this and computers that can do that. And people trained to do this and do that. War's not even on the battlefield anymore. But anyway, I kind of lost my mind and tangented a whole bunch of places. I'm sorry that Phil had to deal with the bad weather between Restream and Facebook and Restream and YouTube and his bouncing on and off. So you may, when you watch this in the podcast, you may see that, or hopefully Restream might edit it and just leave him in one continuous state of being here on the broadcast. I don't know. As for watching things that are very short, there is a Monday portion of the broadcast, 7 p.m. last Monday, that Michael Anthony was on. And we were talking, and it's about an hour and 42 seconds. And the amazing thing is that the intro is 58 seconds of that. So there really wasn't a short time captured of me and Michael, but it's got over 500 views on the Facebook side. I don't know what it's gotten anywhere else. Now I'm just tracking it for the fun of it to see how high it goes. Matter of fact, I can tell you right now, if we do that, then we do this, then we do this, then we do this while we're live, and then we roll down to, we have 10 views this morning. That's a good number to start with. If we can get this to continue on, we can scroll back through here. I know everybody wishes that we could do it a lot faster. 30 views from Wednesday morning, and that was last Wednesday. And let's see, we can scroll down and scroll down. My phone keeps locking up, and it's not easy. There it is, 563 views of that minute and 42 seconds of Boogie with the Bull. So much interesting to me that I actually said to Michael, if I could get Boogie with the Bull down to 2 minutes, it might actually just work. It might actually just work. There'd be a lot more of them. There wouldn't be an hour and 17 minutes of it. But anyway, go make it a fantastic Friday. Go out and make it a fantastic weekend as you get ready for Thanksgiving. If you want to come on the next Boogie with the Bull, which is tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern, and tell me, what are your Thanksgiving plans? What are your Thanksgiving plans? You want to share them with everybody? That would be cool. And or whatever else is on your mind that you want to talk about, because everybody is always welcome. Everybody is always welcome. Anyway, I'm Dave Glovin. You're not.